coming into this week are from the ACC, including top-ranked Stanford, whom Virginia will see next. We'll give you the starting lineups as we begin this highly anticipated match here in Berkeley, and right off the bat, a serious foul and a serious talking to for California's Santiago Hopkins, as Virginia, from the kickoff, attacked the left flank and earns a free kick from the sideline. Hopkins getting right underneath the Cavalier opponent, and veteran referee Frank Anderson gives the free kick. So in the game's opening 20 seconds, we've already seen some physicality, and if it's anything like the game between California and SMU, the first ACC game for the Bears, it saw some very physical play. We could be in for some more. Free kick will be taken by graduate midfielder Daniel Mangaroff, who has a goal to his name this season. The cross goes into the California 18, but cleared nicely by the Bears. As that goes out of play, we'll give you these starting lineups for the Virginia Cavaliers, who are in at 2 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses. Joey Petruni in goal. Across the midfield, and Fernando will describe their formation as we get going here. Nick Dang, Paul Visa, Austin Rome, and Parker Sloan, the defenders. The midfield 4 will consist of Humberto Pela, Brendan Lamb, the aforementioned Daniel Mangaroff, who took that free kick from the left wing, and Albin Gashi. And up front, Joaquin Brizuela and Hayes Wood, who is one of their key goal scorers as well. Corner kick coming up for Virginia, and Fernando, they're missing their main goal scorer in Reese Miller.
Yeah, I mean, Reese Miller has the most points this season so far for the Virginia Cavaliers. I think it'll be important to see who steps up to fill that role for Virginia. Like we mentioned previously, they're looking for their first ACC win, so that role will be crucial to fill.
Mangaroff took the corner kick in from the right, but smothering that is California's starting goalkeeper, Marco Brocker, and he'll play the critical role, of course, as Cal has struggled to get the scoring going in the early part of the season. Many of you watching today know that Cal dominated Division II Dominican on this field on Monday, and Cal earns its first free kick of the afternoon. Malcolm Zalayat, who could be one of the key men in today's game, draws the foul, and the free kick being set up in front of the California bench. We'll bring you Cal's full starting lineup after the free kick is taken. Alfredo Ortiz, who had a nice game on Monday against the Dominican Penguins, is signaling as if he wants to take this. Virginia's pulled up the defensive line to the 18. A header goes through from Zalayat, tried to flick that on to see if any of his teammates were available, but it's out for the goal kick. And looking at Cal's starting lineup, some players getting a look at the start of the game who've averaged about a half per game, and we'll talk more about them. Kevin Carmichael, the co-captain, of course, anchoring that defense. We talked about Brocker, the junior goalkeeper. Also in defense, you'll see Ortiz, Santiago Hopkins, Bo Morrison. Virginia playing quickly up the other way in the dark uniforms this afternoon. Brizuela, Lamb, Cal surrounding that one and drawing the free kick. They'll have that one coming out. Looking at the rest of the lineup, going to be interesting to look at Gaku Nishimura today, Fernando, as the Yokohama, Japan native gets the start in midfield. Kieran Bracken Sarah, who you Cal fans know well. Brendan Bell also getting a start in the midfield. And up front, of course, Malcolm Zalayat. And holding in the midfield as well is Arseny Metalitsa. Those are your Cal starting 11.
I mean, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game to be played in the midfield. Like you mentioned already, Gaku getting the start next to Bracken Sarah. I think that's a young midfield. You're not using the...
And a key chance here, California closing in on the goal mouth, and Eric Duncan, the 11th and final Golden Bear, has that ball tackled away, and it will go out for a Virginia goal kick. So I was 10 of 11 in announcing the Cal starting lineup. That's an A- average. I'll take it. But Duncan in early on that, and a bit of a muffle there by Virginia's defense.
A bit of a muffle for sure, but I think for me, the key player of this match is Malcolm Zalayat for the California Golden Bears. Very young player. He's only a freshman, a true freshman, leading the California Golden Bears in points. You see him get stuck in this early, not scared of the East Coast team that's very strong, very physical. Getting stuck in with goals and assists already. You can see him having there a little push with Lamb this early on in the game. You can tell he's ready for this game, and that's my player to watch for California today.
California in at 3-4, 0-2 in the ACC. Virginia 2-2-2, 1-1-1 in the ACC. Have I said one enough times?
For the ACC, do they have a win yet?
Nope. No wins, one loss, one tie. And again, without Reese Miller, who suffered a knee injury in their match last week against Wake Forest. Lay down the right flank, looking for Zelaya. And out of play. You mentioned, Fernando, these first 15 minutes are going to be very crucial as Virginia tries to put Cal's defense under pressure.
Yeah, so I actually spoke with head coach Leonard Griffin for California, as well as associate head coach Adam Perron from Virginia before the game. And they both mentioned something very similar, which is the very first 15 minutes will set the tone for the rest of the match. Virginia is looking to put Cal's defense under pressure early, while Cal needs to manage the physicality and composure of UVA's forwards. And right now, as we previously mentioned, Reese Miller, who's leading Virginia in points, is not in the game as of right now. And Cal's managed to break the back line a few times, something Perron said was what they expected. They know Griffin's Golden Bears play a very direct style, and they're prepared for that. But clearly in the first 5 minutes, it's working for Griffin's Golden Bears.
And in your talk with Coach Perrin, you were spot on, and he was spot on. Daniel Mangaroff has already figured in a couple of Virginia set pieces in a game where both teams are hungry for goals and hoping to elevate expectations for their 2024 campaign. Cal 0, Virginia 0. We play in the 7th minute from Berkeley on a day that's gotten more overcast as kickoff approached. It was mostly clear throughout the day in Berkeley. Plenty of action going on around the UC Berkeley campus, athletics-wise. Virginia cutting in from the right. A claim of handball by Paul Visa, but to no avail, and Cal's able to clear that one. Our officiating crew this afternoon, I mentioned Frank Anderson is in the middle, retired from 18 years in MLS and CONCACAF assistant referee duty. He is the manager of senior assistant referees for Pro these days, so still involved with MLS. His ARs today are Alan Martinez Loyola and Luis Herrera, and the fourth official, Valentin Huerta.
As previously mentioned already, Mangaroff will be key in set pieces for Virginia, but also keep an eye out for Alfredo Ortiz on the set pieces as Cal advances here.
Duncan, Zelaya, left of the circle at the 18, into Ortiz, cuts it back, and Virginia got a foot to that one, and Cal has a corner kick coming up. Great build there, Fernando.
I mean, Alfredo Ortiz, the player I was just talking about, limited playing time so far this season, but scored a brace in under 10 minutes this Monday against Dominican, one of those being a set piece. He goes off here to take another set piece with this corner kick, but we can see there's much more than just set pieces for him. He's creating play, he's doing well, and I can tell that's why Griffin is giving him more playing time now. We've already seen him on one free kick with the in-swinger. Looks like he'll be doing the same with his left foot here, and we'll see what California can make out of it.
Bears put 7 players below the 6. Bracken Sarah was there in support. Ooh, an in-swinger and punched clear by Betruni. California retains possession with the throw-in, which will be taken by Hopkins. Hopkins can get it all the way into the box here, can he?
Long throw. We'll see. Yep, it looks like it's going to be a corner kick via throw-in for the Golden Bears.
Cal has been trying to serve up some of their strikers atop the head early in this one in the 10th minute, and that header comes off a Virginia defender and right into the arms of Betruni. Good early action at both ends here.
I'm very surprised by how early Cal is attacking. That's already 2 shots in under 10 minutes against SMU. It took them 25 minutes to get their first shot off. So very interesting to see California gaining rhythm. I think the Duncan-Zelaya connection is really going to help the Golden Bears, but we'll see what the Cavaliers can do about it as they attack the Golden Bears side now.
Metalitza had it dispossessed about 30 yards out up the right flank. Here comes Hayes Wood. The cross. Brizuela tried to get ahead to it, but Cal was in front of it. And the counterattack now with Zelaya up near the halfway line. Tapped out of play by the Bears. Cavaliers throw in along the right-hand side. Just past the 10-minute mark. Cal and Virginia, no score. I'm Scott Armstrong with former Golden Bear Fernando Andrade. Andre Deshay, our excellent camera operator here this afternoon, high atop Edwards Stadium, or Oppenheimer Field as some of us movie buffs call it. And if you haven't seen the movie, in there. Virginia's going to switch play now over to the left flank. Brendan Land, the sophomore midfielder from the state of North Carolina, now into the center for Humberto Pela, one of their co-captains, and Cal takes it away. Duncan was trying to get the counterattack started, but he missed the mark with Brendan Bell, and Virginia back in possession. Paul Visa. Mangarov. Into the 12-yard area. And Santiago Hopkins able to cut that off ahead of Parker Sloan and knock it out of play for a throw-in. Slide tackles. As an ex-Central defender, I'm all about them. I don't know how you feel. I loved them.
It's fantastic, yeah.
You do it right. Virginia's throw into the box comes up short. Nishimura heads that one away. And played up the left side now for Duncan, deep on the left flank. Nick Dang turning it around and clearing it out toward midfield. Cal will now settle it and begin to build through possession. 12th minute, 0-0 between the Cavaliers and the Bears. And speaking of sliding tackles, that one missed the mark, and Virginia gives away a free kick, as it was Paul Visa, the senior out of Rostock, Germany, who gives Cal a free kick in an intriguing position as Ortiz will walk up with Bracken Sarah.
I mean, each side already has a corner each. There's been 3 shots for the California Golden Bears and 1 for Virginia.
Excuse me, Bracken Sarah taking that with the right foot. Played back in by Metalitza, and here comes Virginia on the takeaway and the counter, and they've got numbers. Racing ahead is Paul Visa into the box, and the whistle goes for offside.
Virginia head coach Galvanach cannot believe the call, and I'm not too sure about that one.
Very close. Call made on the far side by Alan Martinez Loyola. Now Cal pulled up the offside line there, and it worked out. Had the offside trap not worked, Paul Visa was in alone for a crack on Brocker, who will take this free kick from pretty close to the center circle. So Cal with an immediate attacking opportunity in the 14th minute. That one heads to the left wing, trying to find Zelaya as well as Nishimura, but Virginia back in control with the throw-in. Fair, you mentioned these two teams may play a 4-4-2, but you may see a switch by one or the other into a diamond formation.
Yeah, I think Virginia, as of right now, again, it's been too much of a transition game so far to confirm this, but it seems to be that Virginia is playing in a diamond, which is leading to plenty of the transitions being played. There hasn't been as much possession to fully tell what each side is doing, but it seems to be that Virginia is in a diamond and California is in their classic 4-4-2 at the moment. And I think from that play, seeing Visa, I mean, California already knew this before the game. Their biggest challenge is going to be managing Virginia's high press, as well as their strong transitions while taking advantage of these set pieces, right? So it's exactly what we saw, and I think California actually got really lucky there with the offsides call.
Zelaya took that one away from Pela, who was kind of waiting for the pass to come to him within the center circle. Virginia now back in possession across the midway line. 15 minutes gone by and no score. Each team has had their chances. 3 shots taken by Cal and 1 save made by the Virginia keeper, Petruni. 1 shot taken by Virginia, no saves yet for Brocker. And you're right, Fernando, not a lot of holding play yet. Both teams were clearly told by their coaching staffs, we want the first one.
Well, they want the first one, and in the 15 minutes, which have already gone by, I think, as predicted, this will be a very, very fun matchup as both teams look for their first conference win. And they can both tell how important this game is, right? Because at the end of the day, all teams will be qualifying for the ACC tournament, but what they want is the seeding. This is really important, especially for teams, now that teams like California, Stanford, SMU are in the conference because of the travel. You want to play at home and you don't want to make the cross-country travel as well. So plenty to play for here today, early on in ACC play.
Duncan was surrounded there in the midfield and ultimately dispossessed. Virginia down to the left corner. Hayeswood against Carmichael. This is a nice matchup. Getting physical, and Carmichael takes it away with a strong charge to the side of the Virginia attacker. California back in control. No substitutions yet by either side. Cal with Brocker, the goalkeeper. Carmichael, Nishimura, Bracken, Sarah, Duncan, Bell, Ortiz, Zelaya, Hopkins, Morrison, and Medalitza. The first 11 today for Coach Griffin. Both teams said it was their throw-in. They always do, right?
Always.
But it goes to the Golden Bears, and Hopkins will toss it in. Headed out of play there by Brendan Lamb. Petruni, the goalkeeper. Dang, Visa, Rome, Pela, Wood, Lamb, Mangaroff. Carmichael into the box, just over the head of Brendan Bell and out for the goal kick. This is Virginia's first trip to the West Coast in 15 years. And their first trip west of Notre Dame, which is not used to coming out to the West Coast, and that's the flip side of the coin, right, Fernando? We've talked about Cal and Stanford having to go east, and it's the same for the programs on the other side.
Well, I mean, the Cavaliers will be hosting Stanford next weekend, so I'm sure that'll play to their advantage, and they'll learn how to take advantage of that through this experience. But as speaking with associate head coach Adam Perron, he mentioned that this is great practice for their discipline, for their intensity, for their chemistry, especially leading into NCAA play, that tournament where you don't know where you'll end up traveling. So this is a great experience, the longest trip they've had in 15 years, as you previously mentioned, and their longest trip of the season. So we'll see how that impacts the rest of their season.
Humberto Pela clearing that long up the right flank, faced by Nishimura on that occasion, who trails back to defend against Mangaroff, and Mangaroff draws the free kick along the boundary. Virginia getting their nose into the attack early in the game because of the absence of Reese Miller. The knee injury sustained against Wake Forest. The clock is frozen here, 18 and a half minutes into the contest on this Saturday afternoon. Plenty going on the Cal campus: volleyball, water polo. This crucial ACC matchup between Virginia and Cal, and we're especially grateful for those of you checking in on us. ACC game being played in Tallahassee with a pointed ball, but hold that one on the DVR and stay with us. We'll appreciate it. And Mangaroff, unfortunately, is going to need some treatment from the Virginia coaching or training staff.
Not what you want to see of your Virginia head coach, Gal Novak. As previously mentioned, key player, especially on set pieces. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like he's just getting treatment.
Card
and
has been shown to Cal's number 34, Arseny Medalitza.
Yeah, and as just announced, a yellow card handed to Medalista for the foul.
So that card comes in the 19th minute. We got to look at it through the stream here, the same look you had a couple of minutes ago in live action, and it looks like Medalitza stepped on him. as the ball was already kind of carrying out of play.
One of those unfortunate tackles. I'm sure it wasn't too serious, especially in that placing of the field. Tends to happen. Anybody that's played before knows it, and looks like Mangarov will be just fine.
Yes, he's able to continue, which is great news for Virginia, especially with no Reese Miller today. If you were curious, Cal will be without the services of Nanso Dimabua, who is still on suspension from the red card picked up in the SMU game, so Nanso will be back most likely in Cal's next match, which will be in Chapel Hill a week from today against the North Carolina Tar Heels. One of those programs that is ranked top 6 in the country right now in the coaches poll. Both these teams will get a big test in this game and in their next one. So play resumes after the foul on Mangarov. Yellow card to Medalitza. And he'll have to be careful picking up a yellow card this early in the game. That being said, the advantage at the NCAA level is the coach will have the option to sub. But that has been tweaked a little bit this year in the moments when subbing is possible. Ooh, a back heel there from Gashi, the junior midfielder out of Sweden. Duncan almost able to turn the corner on Austin Rome. Rome was simply shepherding that out of play, as you usually might near the touchline.
He was definitely looking to get a tackle there, and Duncan was smart enough to get around him, but couldn't get that touch going forward.
Duncan has really been enterprising and energetic early in the game from that right flank position. On tackle to dispossess by Santiago Hopkins. No score as we enter our 20th minute. Whistle and a foul will go against Cal.
Very interesting thus far to see Virginia choose to attack via their left flank, considering if you look at the California Golden Bears back four, Santiago Hopkins on the right side, Kevin Carmichael getting drafted by Nashville last season, playing his final senior season here for California.
Crossing pass looking for Duncan. It got deflected, but fortunately for the Bears, Ortiz is back with it into the corner for Hopkins. Looking to cross. Here's the cross. Here's the header by Duncan, and up over the bar. Couldn't quite get that one on target, but one of the best chances Cal has had so far, and Duncan's been at the center of most of those.
Duncan being at the center of them, but most importantly, Alfredo Ortiz playing a key role here on the right flank, coming in on his preferred left foot, being able to whip some crosses in, but also being able to communicate there with Hopkins to play him through and get a good cross off.
Nick Dang. Paul Visa up to Daniel Mangarov. Long send. Speculative there, and easily cradled by Marco Brocker. Cooled off a bit here since our 4 p.m. local time kickoff, which was scheduled for about a 70-degree game time temperature. '22nd minute and no score between the Cavaliers and the Golden Bears. This is one of the few times Virginia has held here so far, Fair.
Yeah, I mean, and it all started with Virginia's captain, Italian captain, Umberto Pella. He does a great job of coming in and just playing simple. He's been staying back most of the time, just covering Duncan's space. Almost trying to play like a line of 5 at times defensively, but he's really just on Duncan's back most of this game. Surely that's a strategy being played out by the Virginia coaching staff. But again, it starts with him, and the more he can do that, the better Virginia can build out the back.
The native of Milan. And so much of what Virginia does goes through Pela. Turn, shot, deflection off Carmichael. And there you are, Umberto. right in the thick of it.
He may be the key player here for Virginia if you're trying to build out the back. Apparently, yeah, they just flipped again. Virginia trying to look like it's a diamond midfield, excuse me. But it seems to be that there is one clear holding midfield. Oh.
Morrison clearing that one up in the air. Frank Anderson, the referee, waving his arms to say that was incidental, not a back pass, and Cal gets out of trouble on that occasion.
Potentially a bit lucky, but as I was saying, there is a strong holding midfielder from Virginia, and it keeps on flipping between Pela and Gashi, the two Europeans. So we'll see if Pela can get a bit more involved in Virginia's attack, and surely that will help the Cavaliers.
Good turn to the inside. Duncan trying to find Zelaya. Cleared away by Brendan Lamb. Pela heading up toward Brizuela. In a foot race with Morrison down the right sideline. And Morrison gives away the foul, so this is another set-piece opportunity coming up for the Cavaliers.
Surely Mengarov will be on it again. Well done by the Argentine Brizuela. A bit of a rookie mistake there from Bo Morrison, who's been great all season long, but definitely not what you want to see, especially knowing Mengarov can whip these in and from approximately 25 yards here.
Played short to Mengarov. Pass ahead to Gashi. Into the box. Header. Save. Hayeswood got his forehead to it. Brocker was right there. If you're Hayeswood, you would have liked to try to make Brocker go one way or the other.
Haven't really tested Brocker quite yet, but that's the third shot of the game for the Virginia Cavaliers. They're picking up their cadence so far, and it's been pretty even game. Fun game so far, but still looking for the opening goal.
A deflection comes over to Zelaya off the punt by Brocker. He went immediately toward Duncan, and you saw Virginia's defensive back line converge on Eric in the center of the pitch. 26th minute, no score between Cal and Virginia. Served by Nishimura into the box. Across, and turned away by Nick Dang in central defense. Cal putting on the pressure here. Ortiz to the 18, headed away. There have been spurts here where Cal has had more pressure, and then spurts where Virginia has had more of it. Very transition-heavy game, as Hernando has said.
Looks like California will try to get a bit more rhythm here, started by Brecken Serra, the Berkeley native,
whose brother Gabriel plays for the USF Dons, and when one has the day off or is done with practice, the other will come over and watch his brother play, and that's really good. Very cool that they are close by to each other during their concomitant careers. First time Virginia ever played Cal in soccer, it was at USF in 1983, back when USF was king of the hill in NCAA soccer under Coach Steve Negoesco.
Nice footwork there from Brendan Bell.
Into Duncan, and he couldn't quite corral that to head for goal. Cal continuing to apply pressure here in the 27th minute. Brecken Serra to Ortiz. Duncan stood up by Austin Rome. Cal maintains possession. Mentioned Brendan Bell there doing some good early work on the left flank. Ortiz trying to take on his man. Door was shut, and they'll switch play over to the left. Nishimura, good to see him pressing high and being involved. And Hopkins get that one down with his chest. He can. And again, Cal, as you say, taking the temperature of the second part of this first half in a scoreless game and not able to maintain the rally on passes. It comes off Ortiz's foot and out for the throw-in.
Looks like some subs being made, but that's great. That's what you want to see. Plenty of connections there. Composure being showed by Kevin Carmichael. And you want to get Alfredo Ortiz on the ball. It seems like he'll be the one creating most opportunities, which is what they're trying to do here on the right flank for California.
And number 22, Drew Serafino. Out of the game, number 7, Hayes Wood. Number 11, Joaquin
Triton
Brizuela,
Beauvoir,
number 32,
15.
Parker Sloan.
As well as Kome Ubogu, the 18, the senior from Hoover, Alabama, and the 22, Drew Serafino, the junior out of Massachusetts, all onto the field for Coach Gail Navach and the Cavaliers. So that's the first bundle of substitutions the Wahoos have made in this one as we play in the 29th minute at Edwards Stadium. Glad you've joined us here on the ACC Network. Scott Armstrong with Fernando Andrade. Game time temperature was about 67 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. And pitch has cooled down a little bit with a heavy layer of clouds that have settled, but still a very pleasant day in what's usually the best weather period of the year in the Bay Area. And Virginia takes the foul at Mangaroff, who already received treatment earlier in this first half, has gone down again.
Cal substitution,
but now to his feet.
In the game, number 7, Justin Knighton.
Justin Knighton, the sophomore out of Torrance.
Isaiah Thomas.
And another sophomore,
Number 18,
Isaiah Thomas, the Cal number 7 and the Cal number 25. Thomas out of Schwelper, Germany, are on for Coach Griffin. And the Bears' first substitutions of the day. Again, in men's soccer now, if you leave during the first half, you can return in the second half. But no re-entry is possible in either half. So players that came off, in this case they were Hopkins and Bell, cannot return in this half, but they can come back after the interval. Intercepted by Nick Dang, the defender pressing forward as part of the Virginia attack. That one tipped away, but over to Serafino for his first touch. In the middle is Brendan Lamb. Off to the right for Paul Visa. Curving cross, and Brocker read it and stepped right in front. That was Ubogu trying to get into the action early on. We've played exactly 30 minutes here in Berkeley. Cal 0, Virginia 0. As each team seeks its first ACC victory of the season. Ortiz is taking the brunt of that one. Fouled over the top by Albin Gashi, the junior out of Vargarda, Sweden. What do you think of these long serves on the midfield free kick? It feels like teams aren't necessarily just playing the short pass and continuing on. They want to get the attacker onto the head for a shot on goal, huh?
Yeah, I mean, both teams are playing very direct, especially California at the moment. They're playing quite direct most of the time, and you can see it just because of the formation being played. All four attackers immediately up top. It doesn't seem that there is much of a connection trying to be made. Again, right here, Brocker playing long for Justin Knighton, who's offside at this moment, but that seems to be the strategy, and Virginia's aware of this, by the way. They knew going into this game that California would try to get behind their line of four, which is the strategy the first 30 minutes for California.
And Knighton getting involved for the first time, but Virginia's offside trap worked as Cal was kind of lured into it. We were talking about serving the long free kick into the box. They didn't do it on that occasion. They decided to go with the wall pass and then have Brocker play it out of the back. If you were describing this in pugilistic terms, the fighters have exchanged blows so far, but no real haymakers as of yet. Duncan down the right side looking for Ortiz. Good work rate from him early in the game. 32nd minute and no score, but that's out of play for the Virginia throw. Talked about Virginia's diamond, and they've not been afraid to have their defenders come up and be part of the action when the ball is in Virginia's attacking third. Ortiz, past Duncan and Nishimura, who makes the overlapping run. This comes into the center, though. Bracken Sarah. Nishimura can't find Duncan. Ball's still knocking around in there. Shot save.
What a save.
Eric Duncan is beside himself. Had a point-blank opportunity from the 6, and the left hand of Joey Betruni stuck out there to save what would have been the game's first goal, corner kick, California.
I mean, what a save from Betruni, but let's not overlook Bracken Sarah's pass. What an incredible through ball, breaking the line of four at the top of the box. Incredible job there from Bracken Sarah. unfortunate to not be able to get the first goal for California.
Ortiz, the corner, headed clear. Bracken Sarah faced up in front of us by Mangaroff, who's come all the way over to that flank. He's been normally playing on the opposite side. Serve into the box. Duncan almost got his toe to that one. Wow, he has really been smelling some of these chances. And Virginia has let him seep through, but nothing doing yet for Cal on the scoreboard.
Well done there from Virginia.
Yeah, they were able to recover, and now they're on a counterattack. Mangaroff out into space. I think he expected either Lamb to come up and make the run or perhaps Serafino to be circling back. But nobody was there, and Cal will say thank you very much.
Well, that's the best bit of connection we've seen from both sides. Virginia being able to build out some passes, first touch passes out the back into the midfield. Unfortunate touch there at the end from Mangaroff. But also California, as you've mentioned, California is expecting Eric Duncan, the senior, to get much more involved in the games as he's doing right now. He's been consistent the past 2 games, and I think California would be very happy with his performance 34 minutes into this match.
Zelaya going for it along the right-hand side, and he bowls over Austin Rome. Most of the louder clashes in this game so far, Fernando, have been when players are contesting in the air.
Yeah, I mean, and it has to do a lot with the aggressiveness of Malcolm Zelaya specifically. He's had 2 or 3 of these at the moment. Santiago Hopkins 7 seconds in, who's not on the field anymore. But you can tell even this, it was just 1 yard move forward of the ball there from Betruni. But it's very intense. The crowd is getting into it. Nice crowd showing out. The bench getting into it from Berkeley. So I think both sides just want it a lot, and the in-air opportunities are a great sign of that.
Good point, Saul. And we've also had no goals. So whether fans coming from around the country or Charlottesville to cheer on the Cavaliers or the hometown fans, they're eager for a goal. Virginia trying to make a connection inside the 18. Turning around here is Gashi. Over to the byline. Pass back out to Serafino. Lamb. Serafino to Pela. Beauvoir. And Ortiz up to Duncan. Cal has 3 against 3. Duncan coming through the center. Trying to connect with Knighton. He has it down in the corner. Defended by Visa. Nishimura into the box. Duncan will be called for a push in the back, as it looked like Nick Dang had gotten position according to the officials.
Cal substitutions
late in the first half here. We're going to see
Rohan McKilligan and number 31,
Israel Cortez, as well as Rohan McElligott. So the Cal number 9, the junior out of Irvine, and the Cal freshman from Oakland. Cortez with a goal to his name already this year.
Yeah, and Griffin mentioned Cortez from this goal on this past Monday against Dominican. He was very impressed with his showing, got a couple minutes, a great opportunity for the freshman here from Oakland to show what he can do on Monday, and that gets him some late first half minutes here against Virginia.
37th minute, no score. Both teams have put on pressure at various times. We had 1 yellow card and 10 total fouls between the teams. Isaiah Thomas throwing in quickly to McElligott. His first touch into the box. Duncan versus the keeper, Betruni, and Joey goes up and takes care of that one. Joey has had all but 11 minutes in goal so far this year for Virginia. He took over the role midway through last season of the number 1 choice for Coach Gail Navach. Backup is Tom Miles, and Joey with about a 70% save percentage on the year. Triton Beauvoir. Holding. Over to Pela, who wanted to connect with Gashi in the left corner, but it's out for a goal kick.
Great build out there for Virginia, just being able to break 2 lines with 1 pass. But again, there's a lack of connection for Virginia, especially in the final third. Not sure what's going on. Not sure if it's the Reese Miller absence for the Cavaliers, but plenty to fix going into halftime, if not in the next 7 minutes.
Miller missing from action with knee ailment, tied for the team leading goals here in the first month or so of the season. Nick Dang, transfer out of Lipscomb, also with 3 goals on the campaign.
Which is interesting considering he's a center back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scoring center back. It shows you that he's given autonomy to prowl all over the field and use the most of his skills. Some coaches, as you well know, Fernando, are a little more tied to their tactics and the roles they want players to play. Cal remaining onside here. And up the left-hand side, play continues with Knighton as he shakes off the challenge from Visa in toward Duncan. And eventually dispossessed by Gashi, the opposite number 12. Virginia now on the counter. Ubogu gives it off on the right-hand flank. Mangaroff pulls it back. Didn't see much there. And his pass overran Brendan Lamb, excuse me. We're nearing the 40th minute. No goals as of yet here in Berkeley. Each team looking for its first ACC victory of the year. Another clash between Gashi and Duncan, this time all the way up at midfield. And Frank Anderson decides there's no more advantage to be played, and there's the whistle. Final 5 minutes here, Fernando. What are you thinking about as a player if you see it's no score?
I mean, I think it's a very well-contested match thus far. Oh.
And a try for Virginia there. Header goes out of play by Ubogu. Go ahead.
Very well contested thus far, both sides attacking. I think it's reflected in the shots. I'm very impressed by the 5 shots from California. Not something you typically see from the Golden Bears. Virginia right up there with 4, each with a couple corners. But again, I'm looking for some more possession. There hasn't been much build-out. We just saw in the past minute how both sides just kept on losing possession, and it's just been a transitionary game. So I think keep an eye out for important transitions for sure, but also set pieces as long as they can't build out the back. But once they do, I think the game will change hopefully in the second half.
Another key to a successful game, play-by-play man should not try to lead the analyst during an attack. I'll work on it. Knighton was fouled by Visa. About 35 yards from goal and almost straight on. Nishimura and Brackensara are standing over this one. 42nd minute. Virginia playing the high line to the 18. 2-man wall. Nishimura to the 6. Shot, save, flag is up. Carmichael smelling the goal. That would have been his first of the year, but he was off.
What a save from Betruni. I think it's the second time he's been tested this game, and those single-hand saves, incredible job thus far. I think it's a great cross, by the way, from California. Kevin Carmichael looking for that second post opportunity. Does well, but Betruni just doing his job, and he's showing that it won't be easy to get past him in this first half.
Talk about Nick Dang, such a key part of Virginia's offensive output this year. Then Kevin Carmichael, a center back and a co-captain, getting involved at the other end. A little total football out here. Center backs playing some strong attacking soccer.
Well, listen, I mean, I think there's great players out here for sure, and we've talked plenty about the attackers, but you must mention Kevin Carmichael when you're talking about the best players on the field. It's no coincidence that he got drafted as a junior, decided to play his final season here before graduating in December, but Kevin Carmichael, one of the top talents in the entire nation, one of the best center backs, and he's showing that he can do it on both sides.
And returning to the Bears after going first team all Pac-12 last season. Oh, the Pac-12. Plenty has been said by plenty of people, but we're watching this very exciting ACC match here in the final couple minutes of the first half. 44th minute. Cal trying to end it on a high note. And it comes to Cortez. And he hits the deck. And the call goes against him. And then a bit of cheek shown by Isaiah Thomas, knocking that ball out, and tries to run away, and Frank Anderson isn't going to have any of that.
Not very smart there from the German right back, but looks like he gets away with it. Would not recommend it leading into the second half of such a well-contested physical battle here, especially for a defender.
Frank Anderson showing some restraint there. Could easily have been a yellow card. Referees don't want to give that yellow card, I assure you. So a stern talking to is what Thomas got. Cleared out a play there by Carmichael. And off the foot of a Cavalier. So Cal with 1 minute left in the half.
1 minute remaining in the half.
You tell I've been doing PA? We hit the 1 minute. And Carmichael knocks this one down the right touchline, and it somehow stays in play. Dang following suit. Virginia with a late attack here and an offside. And that might just about do it. By the time Cal gets this free kick in the air, unless they really want to hurry, we might have reached halftime. 30 seconds remaining. Brocker will take it. Virginia will play very high, about 40 yards out. There's Brocker's free kick. Duncan and Cortez there, so is Knighton. Free ball at the 18, cleared away by Visa.
10, 9, 8,
Countdown begins. Last-ditch effort here by Metalitza.
4, 3, 2,
and
1.
Steered out of play by Pela, and that's it for the first half.
Score at the half, tied up at 0.
Cal nil, Virginia nil. Before we head to break, Fernando, your thoughts on
Get their first conference win of the season, and whoever can capitalize on transitions or set pieces may take away those 3 points.
Off we go with half number 2. Cal in the white, Virginia in the dark blue. Two teams, you could say, desperately wanting a win out of this one. And Cal hasn't drawn a game yet this year. 3 losses, or rather 4 losses, 3 wins. And up to some dangerous play here early with McElligott passing to Ortiz and then knocked out of play.
Yeah, McElligott, the late first half substitution, has had a great seasons for California in the past, both his freshman and sophomore year. Coming in right now, seems to be still on the pitch for the second half, which I think is a smart decision by Leonard Griffin.
Cal 3-4-0, Virginia 2-2-2. And eager for that first win, as we have said. That comes all the way through to the Virginia keeper, Joey Betruni, who was certainly tested at times by Eric Duncan in the first half.
He had some incredible saves. Bertuni doing a great job with single-handed saves. If it weren't for him, I'm sure the score would be much different right now. If not 2, at least 1 for California.
Brocker has credit on the score sheet for 1 save, Betruni to 2. But to your point, I would have to say that it's definitely been Betruni who has kept Cal off the board. As that one goes out of play for a throw-in for Virginia.
I mean, Brocker doing a great job as well, but a bit more standard, it's more routine saves. Hasn't been tested as much as Betruni has, and Betruni just 2 for 2, incredible saves there. Brocker very confident in his first season with a 100% start rate, so you can tell he's much more relaxed, much more confident, acting like a veteran now that he's a junior, and just playing really well for California.
Visa goes long and over the top. Could not hook up there with Ubogu. Virginia with a throw down deep in its attacking third. Set pieces were a part of the first half as well. A fairly clean half as Division I men's play goes. Not a lot of dirty play. 1 yellow card for a Cal player. As heading toward the box was Gashi, but his pass was intercepted. And Humberto Pela, who had a solid first half creating, as he's expected to do for the Cavaliers, dispossessed momentarily. Daniel Mangaroff was a big part of that early Virginia first half as well. And his set piece ability could be key in the home stretch as that one's put out of play for a very deep Cal throw-in. Virginia with the good early play here. Slide tackle by Mangaroff to bring the Cavaliers back into possession. Left-hand side, the passing combination with Luke Burns, who's into the game for the first time in this second half. Burns, the freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona. We did not see him in the first half. The three subs Virginia played in the first half were Beauvoir, Ubogu, and Serafino. Cal played Knighton, McGilligan, Thomas, and Cortez lead in that first half.
Also a key substitution right now at halftime is Adrian Guzman, number 15 in the midfield for California, taking his 5th year this year, a veteran on the team, and typically a starter. Not sure what the situation was in the first half, but surely a tactical decision by Leonard Griffin. And
a native of nearby El Sobrani, he's the only player on the field other than the keepers in long sleeves as the second half begins. So no stranger to the Berkeley Hills weather as we have this wonderful perch atop Edwards Stadium. The hills overlooking the campus. These two teams battling it out for what they hope will be, for one of them, the first ACC victory of 2024 in Cal's first year in the conference. In Virginia, looking to get back to the College Cup final for the first time in 5 years. Only team in Division I this season, it's been pointed out, that has had top 8 seeds in the NCAA tournament in the last 2 years. They were the 4th seeded team in 2022's national tournament and the 7th seed going into the national tournament last year. And lost a lot of great players, as has Cal. So two teams looking to reload.
Fun fact and a little shout out to my former teammate, Jack Singer, who actually played for both sides. He recently graduated from California in the 2022 season and then went on to play for the Virginia Cavaliers, last season. So one of the few that's played for both sides and one of the great players that Virginia has let go of.
And we hope, Jack, you're watching today and enjoying the telecast here on the ACC network. Down to the right corner, toward the end line. Yeah, tackled out of play as Morrison shepherded that one out. He was in a clash right there with Beauvoir, and it goes out of play. Check that was Ubogu who tackled it out for the goal kick.
I think, as was previously mentioned with the long sleeves, it should be noted that a bit chillier the second half. The overcast has definitely been playing a role. Seems to be a bit more fall weather now here in Berkeley, so we'll see. Surely more subs will be on with their long sleeves as the second half progresses.
And your announcers have also donned their long sleeves as if it mattered to you as we play the 51st minute. Cal 0 and Virginia 0 in a month into the season. A critical tie for both teams. Mangaroff to Lamb. Both teams have a Lamb spelled with an E at the end, no relation. Hunter Lamb, a backup player for California.
Yeah, the goalkeeper transfer for California from
Corner
Oregon
kick,
State.
Virginia.
Here we go, another corner kick for the Cavaliers, and I think this is exactly where either side needs to capitalize on.
They're going to have the senior defender from Rostock, Germany, Paul Wiese, take this one. He's gotten stuck in a number of times in this game.
Interesting that Mangaroff isn't on it, but we'll see what the Cavaliers can do.
Standing on the penalty spot is Ubogu. And they send Pela all the way up into the goal mouth, and Brocker's right there.
I mean, he's just doing a phenomenal job in the past 3 games, actually. Hasn't really been tested, but the routine saves are there. He looks confident. He looks relaxed, and I'm sure California's just very, very happy to see that. It really relaxes everybody when you have a keeper that you can trust, and Brocker's just been doing that all season long.
Guzman. Morrison. Back to Brocker. He'll send long again. He tried to hook up with McElligott previously on the punt, this time trying to find Brendan Bell in the corner, who gets away from his man, heading toward the byline, cut off by Nick Dang, and Nick Dang will see that out for a goal kick, but good play along the flank there by Brendan Bell, the sophomore.
I mean, great attitude, energy from the sophomore Bell, but Nick Dang just physically out-battles him, just does a great job shielding the ball, and doesn't lead to anything further than a goal kick there. Interesting again, though, to see Virginia really just playing a 4-1-3-2 type of formation, not really a diamond. Seems to be Pela just sticking back right ahead of the line of 4 for Virginia. I really think the more that you can get Pela, the Italian captain, involved in the game moving forward, the better the Cavaliers will be. You know, there's Mangarov who's heavily involved, but I think the more you can get Pela involved in the game, the better off for the Cavaliers.
Medalitza into the box, over Duncan's head, and cleared away by the Cavaliers. Cal still with it, though. Isaiah Thomas. Cross with the right foot, and Batruni steps in front.
2 great crosses from both outside backs for California. That's what you want to see. They've struggled to get the ball over the first man in the early first half. Oh, but it looks like it will be a yellow card for sophomore Rohan McElligott.
Yeah, McElligott coming in and claiming the ball, but then taking out the Cavalier with his back leg, and Frank Anderson issues the caution. So the second yellow card of the game to a California player in minute number 55. And part of that also, I would say, Fernando, is because it came from behind, and while he got the ball, he also got the man.
Well, I mean, look, you've got to love the attitude and energy there from McElligott, but at the same time, not a smart foul to make. Very unnecessary to do it in Virginia's half. Not the best yellow card usage there from the junior, but oh well. As I was saying, great crosses from the outside backs, and the more either side can do that, the better the game will be. So we'll see what the Cavaliers can make out of this one.
Gashi dispossesses and tries to punch the ball forward toward A.J. Smith, who is on now as a potential big attacking presence for the Cavaliers. But out it goes for the goal kick. And, yeah, that bit of a hustle play there from McElligott, where he's racing back after Virginia has started the counter. And it may have shortened his time on the field here in the second half, too. Coach Griffin has to mind the fact he now has a couple of players with yellow cards. Not the kind of game where you want to go down to 10, given how dynamic the attacking has been from each side. Cal with a big chance here. Duncan to the 18, dispossessed. In it goes, cleared momentarily by Visa. McElligott, shot knocked down. Shot goal for Nishimura.
What a strike! What an incredible strike from the junior Japanese player, Gaku Nishimura. And
flying off his left foot into the top corner for the good goal for California.
And the crowd is loving it.
Gaku Nishimura.
The crowd is loving it. The Cal bench is loving it. The goalkeeper, Marco Brocker, is loving it. Virginia is just shocked. What a fantastic strike from Gaku Nishimura. The Japanese native just catches it on the volley first time. Upper 90 off the post. Nothing Batruni can do about it. And, I mean, we're live on ESPN Plus. That looks like an ESPN top 10 play for me.
We talked in the early going about Nishimura, whose minutes have been ramping up, how he would fare today, and allowed to extend his contributions to the Bears, and Coach Griffin giving him that responsibility. He has responded with his first goal of the season, and California goes ahead 1-0 in the 56th minute.
Well, his first goal of the season and his first goal for the California Golden Bears, and quite frankly, not sure what he can do in the future, but that may be his best goal in this shirt.
It would be hard to top. Virginia trying to respond. Saved by Brocker off the attempt from the freshman Burns and out for the Virginia corner kick.
That's the first test for Marco Brocker. He does very well there to keep a clean sheet thus far for California, 57 minutes in.
Virginia.
But I think the game will start to ramp up now as California takes the lead over Virginia.
Agreed. Virginia will now have to chase the game a little bit. They do not want to be heading home with another loss. Thought about playing the corner short. Mangaroff in with the left foot. Headed away by Carmichael. But back to Brendan Lamb outside the 18. Returns it to Mangaroff. Faced by McElligott. And Mangaroff slams that into the side netting.
McElligott does a great job there defensively. Maybe not too obvious for our viewers, but right there leads Mangaroff to take the cross on his less preferred right foot, and that ends up hitting the outside side netting of the goal. So very smart decision there defensively by the junior Rohan McElligott.
So some of the biggest action of the whole contest has come in just these last few minutes. The rebound, shot, and goal by Nishimura. To Fernando's point, he might have a better goal coming in a California kit, but that one's going to be hard to beat. Here comes Duncan in a battle with Nick Dang. He goes down, and it's going to be a card for Dang, but what color? A yellow card. Nick Dang doesn't agree with the call, period. But Cal will have a free kick in a dangerous position, already ahead a goal to nil. And Nick Dang goes into the book in the 58th minute.
Number 2,
The
Nick Dang.
the first yellow card for Virginia from the player that's leading you in points, not ideal. And honestly, if he was going to make that foul, that was the right spot to do it, because any more time allowed, any more yards allowed, that card may have been a totally different color. Right outside the top of the box there. Looks like it'll be Alfredo Ortiz on it with an in-swinging left foot. We already saw on Monday against Dominican what his left foot can do on set pieces. I would not be surprised if this creates another great opportunity for California, but I mean, just off of that strike from the Japanese Gaku Nishimura, the crowd is loving it, the bench is loving it, everybody's involved, and we have a very, very exciting 32 minutes left here at Edwards Stadium.
Ortiz on the right of the ball. McElligott on the left. It's Ortiz over the wall. Off Duncan and out for a goal kick. That was nearly 2.
But Truoney was just not expecting that. I think everybody thought it would have been an in-swinging cross there from Alfredo Ortiz, but he goes for goal, hits the crossbar. Nobody was expecting it, but Truoney was shocked, and just very smart play there for Ortiz. Plenty of action here to come in the remaining 31 minutes of the game, but wow. Here we go, other side.
A.J. Smith closing in on goal, but good recovery by California's Bo Morrison. Virginia remaining in the attack. Mangaroff has it knocked down by Medalitza, who's chasing him back out of the attacking third. Cal 1, Virginia 0 on the electric strike by Nishimura in the 56th minute. Crowd still buzzing a little bit from that. Virginia wasting no time in trying to respond. Gashi. Visa. Header, goal, we're tied. And a great response by the Cavaliers. They had been testing Cal's defense early in the match with a lot
Virginia
of
goal from number
attacking
18,
opportunities, but not a lot of close-in shots that were tough for Brocker to handle. There, unfortunately, he didn't have much of a chance.
I mean, it's what you were expecting, right? In this second half, there needs to be more action being made. Virginia looking to go above 500, California looking to reach 500 with the result here, and both sides just in it to win it as of right now. 31 minutes left. Great response from the Virginia Cavaliers after conceding. California started strong and more aggressive much earlier than the Cavaliers did, but fantastic response, and 30 minutes left, Scott, we have a game.
Ubogu's second goal of the year for Virginia. So now it's Virginia 1 and California 1 as we're hitting the 60th minute.
No surprise there, by the way. Associate head coach Adam Perron mentioned that Ubogu would be a key player, especially in Reese Miller's absence, so does a great job there to fill in for Cavaliers' leading points guy.
And someone capable of scoring a lot of goals. 2 years ago, he was second on the Cavalier team with 6 goals. Cavaliers scored 34 goals in that season and were ranked 4th in the NCAA tournament seedings. Last year, Ubogu only 1 goal against Louisville, so he's already doubled that total this season. He had a critical goal in the very first game for the Cavaliers this season against Rider. Luke Burns on the left, crossing in. Carmichael puts that one out into touch.
California's got to be careful there, and it looks like there will be some substitutions being made.
Coming back into the game, number 11, Kieran Bracken-Sarah, and number 27, Malcolm Zelaya. Replacing number 15, Adrian Guzman.
Also the cross there, Fernando. They got to the byline. Unlike McElligott on an earlier play in the second half, there was no Cal defender kind of shadowing down to the byline and not allowing that cross to happen.
And I think California needs to be very careful. There was miscommunication there between Kevin Carmichael and the German Isaiah Thomas. The right side of the back line needs to be very, very careful. You don't want that to happen again, as Virginia is stepping up their game with pressure.
Virginia selling the call for a corner kick. Luke Burns saying that came off Brocker's hand, and Brocker saying no way. Here comes the corner. And the shot going wide by Nick Dang and out for the goal kick.
California had a great start to this half, but has fallen asleep a bit since Virginia equalized. That was a corner played quickly, played short, and it almost seemed like nobody was paying attention with that shot. Very, very easily made by the German Paul Visa. So California needs to be careful, needs to find a way to bounce back. Hopefully the substitution for Bracken-Sarah can help the California Golden Bears.
And again, once a player is substituted off in the second half now in NCAA men's play, they cannot return. So when you're in, you're probably staying in here in the second half. Good job to keep. It's been very evenly matched.
Zelaya also just on now with the substitution.
Duncan thought about going himself, instead off to Ortiz. It's pinging around near the 6, and the left-footed try from Medalica scoots by for a goal kick.
Zelaya just coming back into the game, recently subbed on, so plenty to expect from him. Rohan McElligott still on the left flank now. But I think a key player here is going to be Alfredo Ortiz on the right flank. His left foot is truly special, and the more California can get him on the ball, the better they will be. Unfortunate with the new substitution rule that we won't be able to see Adrian Guzman on again, only 15 minutes in this match, but Bracken-Sarah had a great first half and will hopefully help the Golden Bears keep us entertained here in the second half.
Entertaining this game certainly has been, as trying to force the cross in. And Cal able to clear.
Great job by Duncan.
Dispossesses, takes it over the halfway line, looking for help. Zelaya making the run down the center, but seeing that the numbers weren't there, Duncan wisely pulls it back. Over to the left side for Morrison. McElligott with the 1-2 pass. Nishimura, McElligott into the box. Shot Duncan, save.
That is the best play we've seen from California thus far. What a connection there between left center back Phil Morrison, the Japanese goal scorer Gaku Nishimura, and unfortunate there for to put the ball in the back of the net, but great routine save there from Batruni. California, the more they can do this, the better off they will be.
Yeah, that was among some of the toughest shots Batruni has faced so far today. And the goal he let in, aren't a lot of keepers at this level or any level who would have stopped that one.
I'm not sure there's a keeper in the world at any level that's stopping that one. Truly a screamer there from Gaku Nishimura. And should be mentioned, 21 shots total so far in this game, 12 for California, 9 for Virginia. It's truly ramping up here in the second half.
And for those skeptics that remain among the American sporting public that say soccer just isn't offensive enough, well, you weren't watching this one today, because it would prove you wrong on that opinion. Nishimura taking it away for California. Ortiz dancing over the ball, but then tackled away. And Virginia with the counterattack, and that is a nasty foul and could be real trouble here.
Ooh.
And then we have some extracurriculars afterward. Players having to be separated. Ubogu and Duncan shouting at each other. Virginia thinks this should have been a red card. I would not be surprised if it goes to video review.
The Virginia staff is really not asking for it. They seem confident with that call being made, but apparently it will be looked at by video review.
And with Cal moving into the ACC, the video replay system is now available. First year it's been available here for games in Berkeley. And the player who was fouled, Mangaroff, is getting his bearings.
Second time in this game that he's getting treatment, by the way.
I beg your pardon, not Mangaroff on the ground. It's Gashi. Gashi was the player who was fouled. And Frank Anderson is going to go and have a look at it. We're having our look at it, and this could be real trouble for California. But what also happened was a Virginia player retaliated.
I think the retaliation definitely deserves a yellow card. Very unnecessary. You understand the frustration, but again, very unnecessary. As for the foul, we managed to see it here on the live stream. From just one look, we don't get an extra replay. I think it's the right call to stick with a yellow card. Very far away from any situation. There wasn't much of a goal-scoring opportunity being had there. Not an ideal foul, but you're just stopping a transition. I think a yellow card is the right call here.
Kieran Bracken-Sarah is the player who committed the foul. At the moment, he's in the book with a yellow card from our referee, Frank Anderson, as Brocker came all the way out of the goalkeeper position to try to get Bracken-Sarah out of the fray. What happened next is Bracken-Sarah was lying on the ground after having committed the foul, and Kome Ubogu, Virginia's goal scorer here in the second half, came down and shoved him. And that drew the attention of several Cal players, including Eric Duncan. So there are two parts to this, partner. You've got whether this is going to be a red card for Kieran Bracken-Sarah, because there was no attempt to play the ball there, really. What might save him is the fact that it was an attack with several Cal defenders in front of the player being fouled, who's now on his feet. And
here's the call.
Anderson has made the decision after video review. Again, this is something that can be reviewed. And we're going to stay with the yellow card for Bracken-Sarah, which is a break for California, and then the yellow card for the dead ball retaliation by Ubogu. And Virginia winds up with a free kick here in the 65th minute.
I really think that's the right call. Again, you're 35, potentially even 40 yards out. It's just a routine transition foul there. Not great to see the reaction from Virginia's number 18, but again, you understand it. It's frustrating. Both sides stepping up, Duncan getting involved, Carmichael getting involved. You never want to see your teammate go down like that. But at the same time, we've all been in those shoes. We've been in that position where you just have to stop it in transition, which at the end of the day, if it's just going to be a yellow card, honestly, a very smart foul there by Bracken-Sarah, because it looked like a great opportunity for the Cavaliers.
Oh. Card to one Cal player, card to one Virginia player. The free kick cleared away, and Duncan on the counter, but sandwiched in by four different Virginia opponents here. Dances away from a couple, and the throw-in will go in Cal's favor. So to recap, Kieran Bracken-Sarah, the third Cal player to go into the book today, and then Ubogu for the retaliation. Unsporting conduct both in the 65th minute, but the teams remain 11 on 11. Duncan takes that down with the chest. Nick Dang facing him up. And a whistle goes and a foul call against California. There were some whistles coming earlier that many of the crowd could detect, and that's from the Legends Aquatic Center just across the street during the MPSF Water Polo Invitational, but that is all done for the day, so theoretically the only whistles we'll hear now. You on the ACC network, and there is a rough tackle from Al Bengashi. Had both feet up. He fouls McElligott, and he will go into the book in the 67th minute. 3 yellow cards in the last 2 minutes of action, partner.
I mean, I think it'd be an understatement to say that the game is intensifying. I think it's already intense. 21 shots, 6 yellow cards, 3 in the past 2 minutes. I think both teams just really want to win this game. There's plenty of action left, plenty of time left.
Has been shown to Virginia's number 12, Al Bengashi.
And both teams just showing how much they truly want this win. Their first conference win of the season for either side.
Oh, now 6 players have been booked in the game. 4 for California, 2 for Virginia. No, I beg your pardon. It's 3 and 3. Glad you're paying attention.
Yeah, I thought Ubog wasn't the first one, but fairly even in yellow cards. Intensity is there from both sides, and it's what we mentioned at the beginning of the half, 22 minutes ago. This is what was needed, and this is what is being given as Virginia's on the attack.
Shot blocked by Gashi, and this one rings just wide as Paul Visa, with his head in his hands, having fired one off there that went through the entire Cal defense. If Brocker had the angle, though, I think he would have kept it out if it had been on frame.
Had the right angle for sure, but what a strike there from the German captain Visa. I think it was a great connection there by the right back. Couldn't find the back of the net, but what a shot there.
Well, we're about where we thought we might be as we hit the 68th minute, final quarter of the 90 minutes. Tied at a goal apiece. Ubogu, the goal scorer for Virginia. There's a bit of a takeout there, advantage played. Burns. Virginia getting the benefit of the advantage there after clear Cal foul in the middle of the field.
And I mean, with this intensity also comes sloppiness, so both teams need to be very disciplined. There was a having Carmichael, which if Burns had connected a bit better, might have been a big issue for Marco Brocker's teammates.
And Cal, in its previous ACC match on this field, losing a player to a red card, they do not want that fate to befall them in 2 straight conference matches.
And by the way, California lost that game against SMU 2-1, conceding in the 85th minute, So plenty to be careful here about for California in the coming minutes, as we see right now.
A.J. Smith into the box. Carmichael tracking him down. Carmichael leaving the 18 and heading back to Ubogu. Visa. Pela. You've seen the veteran players for Virginia really get involved here in the second half, step up and say, all right, this game is ours to seize.
It's what you need. The more Pela can get involved, the better the Cavaliers will be. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it throughout the game. I think he's the key player here for Virginia.
Mangarov. Cross. Nobody home, though, for the Cavaliers, and cleared away. Cal wanting to start a counterattack. Zalayat. McElligott sending it up the field, and free kick given to California as Austin Rome made sure that attack would not proceed.
Had that attack proceeded, would have been a big issue for Virginia.
This is a good popcorn movie here. Getting high entertainment value.
I mean, the transition is just on fire right now. There hasn't been much possession all game long from either side, so we're back and forth. And I think that's how the game will continue to be in the remaining 20 minutes of the matchup.
these Cal fans in Berkeley getting their first taste of ACC League soccer in 2024, and this is the product they're going to get. They should be coming out every game, as this has been an exciting one to watch as we hit the 71st minute. Scott Armstrong, Fernando Andrade, and our ACC Network crew from Edwards Stadium. California is going to substitute and put Santiago Hopkins back on the field.
Cal substitution in the game, number 29, Santiago Hopkins. Replacing number 25, Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, the German right back, does a great job in the action that he got in here today. But the senior veteran Santiago Hopkins surely will provide plenty of explosiveness and opportunities in the attack for California in the remaining 19 minutes of this game.
Metalitza to Duncan, and just a little too tall. What a brilliant idea. And Duncan, whose work rate has been particularly one to behold without Adema Bua in the lineup, seeming to have extended himself a little too much on that one. And his foe helping him out with the stretching in Brendan Lamb and Joey Betruni, as he may have cramped up. Clock freezing in the 72nd minute.
Not ideal if you're a California fan to see Eric Duncan go down. The California staff has been asking of Duncan to be much more consistent this season, and that he has. NC State had a great game away, had a great game against SMU at home, a great game against Dominican at home, and another great game at home here against Virginia. So he's really finding his form, really picking up the cadence. And I think if you're a California fan, you really want to see him on the field. He's been the key player up top today for California. Everything has gone through him, and it looks like he'll be okay to continue.
Yeah, they don't want to take him off right now because then they lose him for the balance of the game. So he's going to try to tough this one out. Could be anybody's game. Announcer cliche number 534, but I believe it, so I'll say it to you, our ACC Network audience.
I think it's true. I mean, both sides are very, very even. We've gotten up to 12 shots for California and 11 for the Cavaliers. 3 yellow cards on each side, and Eric Duncan's on again. Back heel.
Wow, what a nifty flick of the back heel just after he had taken a breather to Zlayat. And the cross goes over top to Zlayat down in the left corner. Metalitza, Nishimura. He got checked pretty well there from behind by Smith. Play continues. Bracken Sarah. Hopkins to the 18. Over the head of McElligott. Cal able to maintain control. Nishimura back to Metalitza. Chances are going to be becoming fewer and farther between in the final 20 minutes. And Cal perhaps sensing that, not wanting to overtax, wanting to maintain possession. Again, they keep possession, they keep it away from Virginia, and Virginia's had better of the attacking play in this second half. We're tied at 1, 73rd minute.
California enjoying a bit more possession. Virginia, a very, very disciplined team when they do sit in their block, maybe just catching their breath a bit. California enjoying the ball. But the attack continues. Santiago Hopkins, can he make something out of this?
And a little too tall on that one, and was able to soften his collision into the signboard. And the goal kick coming up for the Cavaliers. You had said that a challenge for the Golden Bears was going to be managing the high press and the strong transitions by the Cavaliers, and we have seen the impact of those transitions today in terms of how it's affected Cal's ability to play defense.
Yeah, I mean, they have gotten caught a few times. The final product has just not been there for the Cavaliers. It's been routine saves all day long for Marco Brocker. But their transitions are great. They've been doing a great job in getting into the final third. It's just the final product that they are lacking. Substitutions being made here.
Virginia,
and that could change that for Virginia.
In the game, number 7,
Hayes Wood,
Wood
who has been dealing
A.J. Smith.
with an injury, the transfer out of Lipscomb, who came here along with Nick Dang, that Lipscomb team from Nashville. Very strong team the last few years. Has featured on the national scene, and it's an ACL that Wood is returning from, so they're managing his minutes in this one, but now he's going to get 15-plus minutes to try to make a difference and get Virginia the winning goal. Paul Visa. Turned in by Pela. Comes back to him. Gashi. Ahead to Wood. And Wood a step behind that one. Brocker has had a good nose for it. He's anticipated all of these today, Fernando.
Yeah, I mean, great little flick there by the Swedish international Gachi, but not enough to beat Carmichael there, and Brocker communicates well with his center back to pick up the ball. So it didn't lead to too much, but again, these little moments, that's what's going to make the difference here in the remaining 15 minutes of the match.
Ortiz steering away from pressure. Carmichael over to Morrison on the back line. Morrison ahead toward the 18. Over the head of Zeliat. Zeliat was fouled. Cal had a free kick in this position earlier. Let's see what they can do with it.
Nick Dang already booked in this matchup, so I think that's one of the softest calls made here today thus far in this game. Very, very unfortunate considering the distance. We already saw what Alfredo Ortiz can do with his left foot. He's crossed it in plenty of times on set pieces, but also hit the crossbar from about this same angle only about 10 minutes ago. So not the smartest foul to give, but also probably the softest call of the game thus far. Something Nick Dang won't be happy about.
Only thing I can think of is that Frank Anderson saw a push very early on in the exchange. Otherwise, yes, it certainly didn't have the same amount of contact that a lot of our calls have had so far today. Here's the free kick by Bracken Sarah, and running onto it was Carmichael, and a little too late.
I thought that was in, Scott. Great cross from Bracken Sarah. Does everything he should have. It's a great in-swinger from the right-footed player, but Carmichael just not able to find the net.
If I may, partner, you and I both watch a lot of games. You can watch a lot of games at this NCAA Division I level, the MLS level, other international play, and you won't have nearly as much entertainment in a game as we have found here today.
24 shots, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that here.
And I don't think that's poor defending, it's just dynamic offensive play.
It's really the transition, how direct both teams play, and we're seeing it here again on transition for Virginia.
Luke Burns to Hayes Wood, and Hayes Wood couldn't connect. Cal goal kick.
I think it really has a lot to do with the collegiate level. Many in the pros you'll see enjoy more possession. In this case, I mean, again, both teams really desperate to get their first early conference win of the season. And it's showing. There's plenty of intensity, plenty of physicality, and that leads to more transitionary play here in this ACC matchup.
Luke Burns has been a pretty big part of this second half. He'd only played 31 minutes the entire season, the freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona. But with Reese Miller on the shelf, coaches may have gone to him and said, this is your chance, young man.
And that chance he is taking. He's done a great job for Virginia thus far. Missing that end product right now to put Virginia ahead, but very, very well done thus far from the freshman.
Carmichael winning that one over Ubogu and out for the Cal throw. Yep, Luke Burns, part of a very athletic family. His brother, track and field and cross country athlete at Santa Clara. His sister plays soccer for Williams College at the Division III level.
Well done there from Bracken Sarah.
And Medalitza can't quite get there. 79th minute, Cal 1, Virginia 1 here on the ACC network. Scott Armstrong and Fernando Andrade. Cal in at 3 wins, 4 losses, no ties. Virginia deuces wild at 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws on the season. First time these two teams have seen each other as foes in the ACC. Cal moving the attack ahead. Nice turn by Ortiz to split 2 defenders. Drops it off to the right flank. Hopkins in toward McElligott. Cleared away by Burns. Back toward the center circle with Morrison. He and Carmichael will settle it down. And towards Zelaya. Down goes Austin Rome, and Rome draws the foul.
It'll be important for California to get Alfredo Ortiz on the ball as much as possible in Virginia's final third. He's done a great job. The past 2 matches had a limited playing time thus far this season, but on Monday put on a great show against Dominican, and today, 80 minutes in, has done a fantastic job. The more California can get the left-footed player on the ball, the better chances they have of getting their first ACC win of the season.
With 10 minutes left in a match like this, sometimes you go to a game or you watch one on TV and you say, I think both teams would be happy with a draw. I don't think that's the case today.
Not at all. I mean, I think Virginia's just trying to get that win, which would also be the first ACC win of their season, but that would also put them above 500, which is just what you want if you're at that 2-2-2 point, and California really, really eager to join the 500 club, and they know that this win would be very important for later on in the season for the ACC tournament seeding.
Virginia began the season in the top 25 but fell out after a surprising performance against Colgate. Players maybe a little more tired, but still the motor on this game is not exactly given out. Brocker in control now. While we have a moment, want to give a birthday shout out to Henry Concannon, who's turning 6 years old today. He is the nephew of former California Golden Bear Katie Suits Vincent, who played in the central midfield for Cal from 2008 to 2011. So happy birthday to Henry, and Katie, if you're watching, glad you're along with us. Here's the shot. It's over the bar, taken there by Ortiz.
That's exactly what you want to see. He couldn't find the frame there, but a referee stopping the clock.
Clock has been held by Frank Anderson, I think, because there was not another ball available behind the goal. So this was simply for an unusual delay. Going back, by the way, real quick to the video review, which came into play on Bracken Serra's foul, there are a certain number of things that the officials can review on video, and mainly their goal, no goal, yellow or red card, a timing error, penalty kick or no PK, denying a goal-scoring opportunity, and offside if a goal is scored. So that fit under the umbrella of the things that are reviewable. Did not result in a red card for either team, though.
So many different rules for so many different leagues around the world, but always a good reminder here for what we're watching on the ACC.
Scoreboard clock here in the stadium is frozen on 81 minutes. That may not be official. We're aware of a minor technical issue with the scoreboard readout. So the actual device at midfield may be working properly. So at the moment, we're not clear exactly how much time is left. If the clock gets working again, we will let you know. Now it says 90 minutes. So the officials may well be keeping time on the field.
Referee is definitely stopping the clock, so as soon as I get fixed, play will resume. 81-35 it is.
Okay. The substitution, by the way, for Virginia, an offensive one. Burns, the freshman, coming out after a very strong second half. And Virginia on the attack here. It's none other than David Okori, the new substitute. And it's out for the Virginia corner. So Okori having an immediate impact.
It's important to remember, if you have been watching California, that they lost against SMU their previous ACC matchup at the 85th minute after a free kick. We have a corner kick here at the 83rd. We'll see if Virginia can do anything about it.
Taken by Gashi. Reflection comes back out to the Swede. On top, Mangaroff headed out at the 6. Virginia applying pressure. Carmichael heading away. A little over 7 minutes remaining. Virginia and Cal knotted at a goal apiece. Petroni sending it forward. And it comes for Okori. Shot taken and deflected and out for another corner. Long distance try. Bit of a tired try there by Gashi. I think he was trying to make something happen.
The deflection also just didn't help, but it leads to a corner kick, which is Virginia's 5th of the game. Mangarov here on the in-swinger.
See a few Cal players with their hands on their knees, hands on their hips.
As well as Virginia, I think everybody's feeling it at this moment.
No doubt. Both sides. Cross goes over everyone. Appeared to come off the head of Hopkins. Virginia maintaining with and then Lamb on the left-hand side. Doesn't have any teammates to help him here, so he'll reassess. Well, if you're Cal, you would hate to have to play the last 10 minutes of the game, mostly in this end. Wood passes back to Lamb. Okori, headed on by McGilligan. Down to the feet of Mangarov. Visa, back to Mangarov. You know he wants to put it on his left foot. Inside it goes to Gashi. Blocked by a Cal defender. Gashi second try and whizzing through. Goal kick.
Virginia does a great job here in the final third. Again, it's not like they haven't been attacking California. They've just been struggling with their final product. That's already 14 shots on the game. Both teams are tied at 14 shots for this game. 5 minutes left, but I think you already mentioned it, Scott. Both teams are tired. Substitutions are likely to be made, especially right now as we see Justin Knighton step up for California. But I think these are the 5 minutes that matter most. It's what really matters at the end of the season. We already saw it with SMU, and we could see it here again. You know, it doesn't matter if you play 85 great minutes. What matters is the end result, and these 5 minutes with the tired bodies, the lactic acid in the legs, it could play a huge role for the final score.
Justin Knighton off camera was getting ready and moved out of the substitute pool and is getting prepared to go into the game for one last ditch effort. Cal to try to find the winner here at home. Good chest down there by Ubogu to Hayes Wood. Cross coming in from Visa. This is dangerous, and the header goes down and out. Okori running onto that one. Some fresh legs at the end, and that has really helped Virginia. Here comes Knighton on for Cal, and he'll come in for Ortiz. Real nice game from Alfredo Ortiz.
Ortiz had a fantastic game. Great week. A brace on Monday. Hits the crossbar today on Saturday, and just a great performance for California. A bit surprised personally that California decided to take him off, but maybe the legs are tired. You never know what's going on, so some fresh legs by the sophomore Justin Knighton may help California here in the remaining 4.5 minutes of this matchup.
Brocker's goal kick goes over a few people. Knighton running onto it, into the box. His shot hits the bar. Holy smokes. Immediate impact there and a clash as well. The Virginia player contesting Knighton goes down, and Frank Anderson will hold up the clock.
Well, Scott, maybe that's why the substitution was made. What an explosive action there from Justin Knighton. Does great to find a way to strike the ball on the fall with the pressure from the Virginia defense, and manages to hit the frame, but unfortunately hits the crossbar and can't find the back of the net. That is what you can expect to see in the remaining 4.5 minutes of this game. Plenty of transition. Both teams will do their best to put up as many shots as possible and hopefully find the back of the net.
It was Austin Rome who is one of 6 Virginia players who have gone the whole way for Coach Gelnovich. And he needed a minute to get up, but no further treatment required. We're now into the 87th minute. Duncan, a little fancy footwork, working with Knighton. Both the AR and the referee saw the foul. Cal wants to get this one into play. At first it looked like Hopkins wanted to take it quickly, but note Nishimura will go stand over it while Cal piles players forward. One of the best last chances of the afternoon and early evening here in Berkeley. for the Golden Bears. Nishimura takes the free kick to the 12, off the head of Zelaya. Carmichael's shot is blocked and cleared away.
Virginia wanted nothing to do with that, just clears it out for the throw for California. Both teams, again, quite tired at this point. You can see it in their actions, in their running. Nobody wants to run much anymore, but this could play a role in the end result. We see Duncan here on the attack. Reminder, Santiago Hopkins, the senior, is back on the field. The long throw is coming in. This is basically a corner kick for California. We'll see if they can make anything out of this one.
7 of the Cavaliers have played the whole way. Hopkins returning to the field to take the long throw. 2.5 minutes remaining.
All 11 Cavaliers inside of the box to defend this one. Would hate to see them concede at this point in the game. But the transition is back on. Can the Cavaliers make something out of this?
Mangaroff ahead to Okori. Stared down by Bracken. Sarah, the corner of the 18. That ball comes up off his arm. Frank Anderson says no. Continue.
Fantastic defending from the Berkeley native, Bracken Sarah.
Another opportunity for the Cavaliers to the byline. Here comes the cross. Proctor's right there. Steps in front of Hayeswood.
Routine save and quick transition. 2-on-2. Malcolm Zelayat.
Zelayat up in the air. Duncan with Nick Dang, and Nick Dang was there a fraction of a second ahead of time. Virginia's not thinking about the tie here on the road. Under 2 minutes to go. They are going for the win.
90 seconds left. Both teams want it. Who will come out on top, or will it be a tie? We shall see.
Paul Visa tackled away by McElligott.
Great defending by McElligott, as well as by Bracken Sarah previously. I mean, 80 seconds left in this matchup, but as soon as the team can get a transition here, it's game on.
Virginia sensing this might be their last chance. They're taking their time with the throw in. Down to the corner goes Wood. Could not find a Corey. It overlaps to Lamb, one of the 7 Cavaliers who played the whole way. Pela,
1 minute.
Visa.
1 minute remaining.
Another cross for Brocker to deal with, and uncontested.
Ooh.
And the punt was blocked indirectly by Virginia's Brendan Lamb, and he'll take the yellow card for that. You're not allowed to jump in front of the goalkeeper when they're trying to play it out, whether from the ground or off the punt or drop kick. So
I would say blocked directly, actually.
The yellow card has been
I'm not sure if the ball came right off him, but
Brendan
in
Lamb.
any case, yeah, I'm the
effort
one who
was-
started it. So
the effort was direct, is what I'm trying to say.
He-
But you're right. Didn't directly block the kick, but it looks like no team. Yeah, it looks like Virginia right now just trying to clear the ball at this point. 30 seconds left.
yeah, tactical yellow card. I think our editors would tell us it's a tactical yellow card.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. This is Virginia trying to get one more chance on goal here. Turned inside to Gashi. Medalitza. Hopkins. Hopkins goes down and gets the call.
10,
And that's going to do it.
8, 7,
Both teams came in here
5, 4,
hoping for a win.
2,
And in a very evenly contested game, Virginia coming
final score,
to the West Coast for the first time in 15 years and leaving Berkeley with a 1-1 draw.
North Carolina,
Oh,
and another
California
ACC match on
taking
September
its first
28th.
tie of the season.